What's up, YouTube? Zach's back with another attack, and today we are going to be talking about everybody's favorite game. Oh, buddy, today is going to be a fun one. We've got Kingdom Hearts Chi, we've got Unchained Key, we've got Union Cross, and we may even dabble into that movie that should have won an Oscar back cover. It didn't win an Oscar because it was in 3D, right? Everyone loved that 2D style. But first, what is Mickey Mouse's favorite sport? Mini golf.
If you like darkness and hanging with Heartless, then you are not Sora, but you may be looking for a channel to watch. Zack to the future.
Okay, welcome back, YouTube. So, all of these games started in March 2013 when Square Enix introduced Kingdom Hearts Chi. This was a 2D browser game exclusive to Japan that was spelled with just an X, but was pronounced by saying Chi. And it had microtransactions, and worst of all, it was completely canon. This upset enough people alone because it seemed that Square had learned nothing from international audiences' frustration with the final mix games not being released outside of Japan for a very long time. Even worse, this game never came to anyone outside of Japan, and since it shut down in September 2016, the browser game will never see an English release. It can be argued that Unchained Key, which is also spelled with an X, but this time is pronounced key, is basically the same thing, but that's just not true. Chi used cards, whereas Unchained Key uses medals, and Chi was more open world with some exploratory elements, whereas Unchained Key has like 3 tiny map pages per level. Both games are canon, but they're different in gameplay and story. Assuming that Unchained Key and Union Cross give enough information to render Chi unnecessary internationally, the next problem is that while this game is free to play, it does have microtransactions. The pricing can become exorbitant, and spending the crazy amounts of real-life money to obtain jewels is basically necessary to obtain every medal in the game. Similarly, if you don't play constantly, then you will miss medals. There's a medal collection page that shows all of the medals you've obtained, and this really makes it disheartening because many medals are available for a very limited amount of time, and others are only available if you're good enough to beat certain missions, and most of those are also only for very specific amounts of time. Essentially, it's impossible to ever get a 100% medal collection. There's medals that you can only get if you had been playing when the game first released, a fact that will drive completionists completely bonkers, and will quickly empty the bank accounts of whales as they try to get at least the best and rarest medals. A third problem with these games is that there's an AP system in the game. This is typical of mobile games, but Unchained Key is the only Kingdom Hearts game to feature this system. I see absolutely no benefits of having this in place, but I do think it's very negative. It only serves to stop you from playing, and when I love a game, as I do with the Kingdom Hearts series, I don't want the game to stop me from playing it. I want to be able to play it for hours upon hours at a time. I have played quite a bit of this game and can forgive it for almost all of its problems, except for one. Perhaps the biggest issue with Unchained Key is the story. The story starts out good enough, but it quickly becomes monotonous as you go from mission to mission, killing a few Heartless and then get no story. After 5 to 10 missions, you may get a slight scene that furthers the story, but it's usually just someone saying, "Hey, maybe we should try going here." And then it takes hundreds of missions for the overlying story to actually make notable progress, and even then it's only to a certain point, and then you're back to repetitive, boring missions. The gameplay is good enough, but it really gets to a point quickly where you have good medals, and then that makes the missions too easy. So then you'll play 50 to 100 missions without even feeling challenged, and then all of a sudden, there's a boss fight that seems impossible. In April 2017, Unchained Key had a name change and became Union Cross, spelled with, you guessed it, only an X, but this time being pronounced Cross.
Come on, guys, make up your mind. Is the X Chi Cross Key iPhone 10?
Union Cross is essentially a Season 2 update to Unchained Key. The problem with this is that it introduces Ventus into the story. Yes, that's Ventus. The one from Birth by Sleep, which takes place 1,000 years later. Not only that, but we also now have Marluxia somebody, and a dude whose name is literally Brain. If you thought the Kingdom Hearts series was convoluted before, then boy, you're in for a treat, because I think Nomura is just getting started. I'd sincerely hope that the movie included with 2.8, titled Back Cover, would explain the story of Unchained Key, but it really only talked about politics among the foretellers and showed us the very bizarre, though hilarious, personality of the Master of Masters. I think the only thing to come from that movie that's of importance are the Black Box and the Book of Prophecies. This story shows no signs of ending anytime soon, however, and Nomura has practically confirmed that the story will impact Kingdom Hearts 3, but only in part. It will play into the series beyond Kingdom Hearts 3 in a much greater scale. Here's hoping everything one day makes sense. The last thing we need is for the story to get more convoluted than it can handle, or force new players to play 3,000 boring mobile game missions and pay $358 over $2,000 to understand the story of Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Zach. Don't you do crack. Leave a comment on the shoe rack, and I'll catch you in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. There's another great video for you right here. You can click here to subscribe, and then you won't miss any of my content. I strive to make content for you constantly that helps you smile every day through optimism and comedy. So make sure you subscribe, watch my stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.